This is not an easy thing to navigate. It is normal for relationships, friendships to grow and evolve as we grow and evolve. People will stay in your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. It's okay if you feel like this friendship isn't serving you anymore, isn't growing with you anymore. Those things happen. Life is short and you deserve to have relationships that you look forward to seeing them, that you look forward to spending time with them. It's not being selfish. It's just prioritizing what fills your cup from time to time and not putting other people's needs before your own constantly. As we grow and evolve, the standards for what we're looking for in a friendship also change. When you set standards, then you're more intentional about who you let in and who you don't.
Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to uplevel, manifest, and glow. Welcome back to Next Level You podcast, episode 66, you guys. Holy cow. I am over 2/3 of the way through my first 100 episodes, and that just feels so amazing to be able to say that. And I'm loving every minute of it. Like, truly, the days that I get to come down to my office is in my basement. The days I get to come down to my office and record are just the best days. I am high vibing. I love that I'm speaking my truth, and I don't know, it's just fun. It brings some fun into the business, and I love that. Before I dive into today's episode, I do want to do a quick shout out. I feel like I haven't done one of these in a while, but I had somebody DM me a couple weeks ago, another fellow female entrepreneur from here in Eastern Iowa. Her name is Mariah. I just have to share this with you guys. She was just singing my praises, and it's so great to hear that the podcast is influencing people, specifically entrepreneurs. I just freaking love that. That was the whole goal in starting, was just to touch at least one person, and it's done that. And it's just so great to be able to say that. So I just want to share real quick what Mariah sent me. She said, I told myself I'm going to binge listen to your podcast. How have I not yet? I do not know. I'm only a few minutes in and I love it. Your voice and communication style is meant for a podcast. I'm trying to gain clarity on what I need to gain clarity on. Laughing emoji. She said, I chose The Power of Subconscious as my first episode, which I think that is so something I need to unlock. I am confident in my business, but I so know that there is a lot of subconscious beliefs to work through. I just want to say thank you, Mariah, for your DM. That means so much to me. Thank you for being willing to share that. And you guys, if there's ever an episode that just really touches your soul, like really resonates with you at that soul level, then please send me a DM and let me know that. And if you don't want it to be shared as a shout out in a future episode, just tell me that. I don't have to share it. I just know, as somebody who diligently listens to podcasts, I love the idea of sharing DMs or sharing reviews when people leave them. As a listener, it kind of makes you feel like you're being included even more, and it makes you feel important, right? So I want to do the same, because I feel like it just makes you more of an active part of this, more of an active participant versus just listening. And so all of that is just to say thank you. If you have left a review, I really appreciate it. If you haven't, please consider going on and doing that. Or if you've already done it and you just want to send me a DM to let me know which episodes have really resonated with you, I'm totally fine with that as well. All right, so shifting gears, you guys, I really want to talk to you today all about the topic of friendships. This has been, kind of an ongoing theme, at least for me in the past, 3 to 6 months, I would say. But since going back to work from maternity leave, it's been a topic that has come up in a lot of my therapy sessions, which I think is ironic because I feel I'm also going through some changes in friendships right now. And I just feel like it's not talked about enough, but it's not normalized. either. And so I'm going to spend today's episode talking all about friendships growing, evolving, changing, and just making this more of a normal thing that we talk about and that we bring to light. And I do want to say, I feel like there's no perfect way to navigate the evolving of friendships. I myself am not a very direct person. I do not like conflict. I avoid confrontation. There's just no perfect way to handle friendships potentially like evolving and changing. I guess in an ideal world, you would be direct with people and you would let them know that you feel you've either one, outgrown that friendship or it's not serving you like it once did. I mean, the hard thing about that is not everybody will take that well. That could be a really triggering conversation for some people. And because we all have egos, that can really hurt the ego. And so there really, I feel, is no perfect way to handle this. And that's another reason why I want to talk about it, because I have clients that are struggling with this. And I feel like this is just something more people need to talk about and hear about. So the nudge has been coming in strong. So I'm just going to take today's episode to talk all about this, both using my personal experiences as well as just my perspective as a therapist and also as a coach. So first and foremost, I do want to just acknowledge that there is a lot of emotional weight that is put on friendship transitions. Okay. Like this is not an easy thing to navigate. However, it is normal for relationships, friendships to grow and evolve as we grow and evolve. I think it is extremely unrealistic to expect all of our friends to be with us for a lifetime. I mean, that's just not realistic, right? I really love the quote. This used to be my favorite quote when I was a teenager, actually. People will stay in your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. I mean, I lived by that quote in high school. And it's so true, right? I have friendships that, looking back over the last 10 years of my adult life, I see friendships that were truly meant to only be in my life for a season. And I got what I needed out of that season. And I feel that's mutual. They probably did too. It's not like one-sided. I would hope not. But then I also see friendships that were really only in my life for a reason. You know, maybe like specifically like my friends through grad school, there's only one of them that I remain in contact with. And she's also a therapist like me. So we definitely like use each other when we need to. But none of the other friends have remained. I haven't continued to pour into those because I really feel like they were just meant to be in my life for a reason. That reason was so they all could lean on each other to get through grad school. And that's perfectly legit. And that's okay. They don't have to stay with you for the long haul. If they do, that's awesome. If they don't, that's okay too. You know, and I could give you so many other examples, but that's just one that really comes to mind for me for like a reason that a friendship would be in your life. Honestly, when I think about friends, you know, when you go back to that quote, people are in your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. I really hope my best friend from college, her and I have remained best friends. She was the matron of honor in my wedding. She has been there for me through really tough times and vice versa. She really supported me through the fertility journey, and still does. I really hope that's a lifetime friendship. I hate to put that pressure on her like that, but I think she gets it. But I think she feels the same way. It's just a friendship that as I have grown and evolved, she has stayed by my side. She has grown a lot too. We both have, but we still love each other through those growth phases, right? And that's so important. And it's okay if you are growing apart and you feel like it's harder to love somebody in this new phase that you're in. That happens, right? So let's normalize it. Let's make it known that like, it's okay if you feel like this friendship isn't serving you anymore, isn't growing with you anymore. Those things happen. And honestly, normally you end up finding new ones to replace it. And it's not like you're burning bridges. It's not like you wish ill intent on them moving forward. I mean, God, I would hope not, because I don't. I feel like even the friendships that I'm not pouring into as much anymore that maybe I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I don't wish them ill. I mean, honestly, I I want what's best for everybody. I want everyone to be happy. But I also just recognize that we are different people now, and those relationships just aren't serving me anymore. And I just think life is short, and you deserve to have relationships that you look forward to seeing them, that you look forward to spending time with them, that you feel they make you a better person. They make you want to be a better person. They are constantly pouring into you and you're pouring into them. I mean, that's what ultimately you should strive for. And if you have a relationship that really isn't doing that for you anymore, then it's okay to maybe let it fall to the wayside. It's okay if you feel you're going to start pouring into other relationships in your life. That is allowed, I feel. And honestly, if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, I completely disagree, that's totally fine, to each their own. This is just my lived experience and my professional opinion based on my lived experiences. And you are totally allowed to have a different opinion on that. In fact, I welcome it. Okay, moving on. What I do want to talk about though is, I mentioned as you grow and evolve, your friendships might grow and evolve, and how that just naturally happens in life. But I feel like what's not talked about in regards to friendships growing and changing and coming in and out of your life is the grief that you experience as a result of that. You might have sadness, you might have disappointment. There's just so many emotions tied to grief that I could list for you. Sometimes you think you really knew someone in their heart, and then come to find out you really don't. And the disappointment and the grief with that can be really heavy at times. But then there's emotions on the other end of the spectrum, like relief. Like maybe the last few encounters with this person have just really emotionally or mentally drained you. And then when you put those boundaries in place and put some distance in place, you might experience relief from that relationship no longer being on the front burner. And that's normal. Okay. And that's okay too. Again, like if you're constantly growing and evolving, maybe that friendship is just not growing with you anymore. And yeah, I've had friendships that over time, I'm not getting out of it what I thought I was getting. And then I walk away from interactions feeling like just mentally drained, and I shouldn't feel that way. And so acknowledging these emotions that are tied to the changing of friendships, I feel is really important, because there is a lot of grief involved with the ending or changing of friends. And if you don't let yourself sit in those emotions, if you don't let yourself just really feel those emotions, it's going to come back stronger in the future. So let yourself sit with them, let yourself experience them. Don't just push them away. Just let yourself really feel into it. That can be really hard for some people, but it's just so important. I can't express that enough. And another thing I want to say about the ending of friendships is, just because a friendship ends doesn't necessarily mean that it was a failure. I don't stop shaming yourself because a friendship did not go into this new chapter with you, because it happens to everybody. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean you were a failure as a friend. People grow and people evolve and people change, and it doesn't mean maybe it's not over for good. Maybe it's going to come back in a future season of your life. But in this current season, maybe it's just not serving you. And it's okay. Be honest with yourself about that. And if you're living your life for you, then you should be okay with putting boundaries in place. If you're still in that people-pleasing mode, you probably have a hard time with that, because you feel like you need to put other people's needs before your own. But I'm telling you, you should really be living your life for you, not for other people. Life's too short. It's not being selfish. It's just prioritizing what fills your cup from time to time and not putting other people's needs before your own constantly.
Hey there, listeners. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and manifest your goals? If you're a female entrepreneur or someone who's been dreaming of starting your own business, I have something so exciting to share with you. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, and I've just launched my 12-week coaching program, the Up-Level Method. It is designed to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and create the soul-aligned business and life that you've been dreaming of. So here's what you'll all get in the program: weekly one-on-one coaching calls tailored specifically to meet your goals, Voxer access for real-time support and accountability throughout the week from me, customized tools like journal prompts, meditations, and follow-up emails to keep you aligned and on track throughout the week, plus guidance to overcome imposter syndrome, rewrite limiting beliefs, and shift into an abundance mindset. The up-level method isn't just about checking off goals. It's about helping you step into your power as a CEO, make decisions that light you up, and build a business that feels truly authentic to who you are. And the best part? The current pricing is literally the lowest that it will ever be. If you're even slightly considering it, lock it in now, because this investment in your future self will pay off tenfold, I promise you. Payment plans are available, so don't let finances hold you back from stepping into your best self. This is your chance to stop second guessing and start showing up for your business and life with purpose and intention. If this feels aligned, DM or email me today to set up a free clarity call. Let's see if the up-level method is the right fit for you. All the details are in the show notes. This is your time. Let's make 2025 the year you up-level everything.
When talking specifically about outgrowing relationships, if you are in a season of growth, which, I mean, we all are most of the time, I feel. I don't feel like that season ever really ends for me. I don't know if you feel the same way, but if you're just constantly striving to be the best version of yourself, like I am, if you're constantly trying to grow as a professional, as an entrepreneur, as a mom, as a friend, spouse, you name it, then that it's not really a season. It's just like a normal part of life that growth is. However, as we are growing and evolving, going through things like personal, professional development, in my personal experience, I feel that as I have really dove headfirst into personal and professional development since starting both of my businesses, I feel that has led to just naturally, organically has led to an evolving social circle. Like I have found that I now have so many more circles of friends than I did before. There's pros and cons to that, absolutely. But what I love about it is I have support no matter where I'm at, right? I have my female entrepreneur group support for business side of things. I have my support from my family when dealing with family matters. I have support from other moms in my circle who are in similar season as I am in motherhood. I have support from married girlfriends who get the ups and downs of marriage, right? So like you have circles, all these different circles in your life. But in my personal experience, as I really dove into that personal and professional development, I have noticed even more how friendships evolve, how those circles evolve. And I don't think you have to look at it like it's this bad thing, right? I actually think it's quite beautiful. I think it's really awesome how, naturally some friendships have dropped from the roster, just some organically and some because I put boundaries in place. But then it's like that happens and then it's like new ones pop up. So there's just always an abundance of friendships. And I really encourage you to look at it like that instead of looking at this from like a scarcity or lack mindset. There are plenty of friends to go around. There are plenty of people that you can reach out to. There are always an abundance of friends in your circle. If you choose to look at life from that kind of a mindset, then you are going to always feel like you're surrounded by an abundance, by a village. And I personally, that's how I look at my life. There is never lack. There is always an abundance. One specific example for me recently that kind of opened my eyes to change has been just entering into the season of motherhood. I know if you've been listening to my previous solo episodes, you've probably heard me say this, so I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but this new season of motherhood that I've entered into has really solidified my values, and I feel that I've gone through a shift in many ways, like an identity shift. Obviously, naturally, I wasn't a mom before and now I am. So that one, but also like I'm a mom, entrepreneur, wife, therapist, I'm carrying all of these different titles, and the kind of lifestyle that I want to live as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a wife. I just want to normalize that when you go into a new season or when you adopt a new identity, that your values, your lifestyle, and your energetic alignment, they all shift as you grow. And so when those things shift, sometimes a automatic consequence of those shifts is a shift in friendships. And again, this is normal. This happens, right? But it does not need to mean we're burning bridges. It does not need to mean you're wishing ill upon anybody. It's just you, like, for instance, me going into motherhood, my values changed in some ways, some just minor changes, but then my previous values that I had have been solidified even more. I've made some lifestyle changes naturally because now I need to make room for this baby in our life. And I've definitely experienced an energetic shift as I've grown into being a mom. When you experience a shift like this, like I said before, you might just automatically notice maybe you're outgrowing a friendship or two. And if you are not sure if this is something that you are experiencing, let me give you some signs. So some examples or signs that maybe you are outgrowing a friendship might be when you get done being around this person, you are feeling mentally or emotionally drained. You are consistently feeling misunderstood. You are feeling unsupported in one or multiple areas of your life. Other things could be, I'm really in tune with my nervous system, I feel, and I just noticed some bodily symptoms, and I really just think it's my body's way of telling me, like, you guys are not in alignment anymore. And so paying attention to those body cues, because those can also be signs. And I think sometimes we don't take that into consideration with relationships ending or changing or evolving. But those might be some signs that maybe you're outgrowing a relationship or a friendship specifically. With friendships growing and changing, this does not mean that you're wishing harm on them. This does not mean that you be unkind to them. This does not mean that you hold a grudge against them. I see these habits a lot with like intergenerational trauma in families. It's not healthy. You can recognize that a friendship is not serving you anymore and wish them well and still be kind to them when you see them. It doesn't mean you act cold towards them. It doesn't mean you talk about them behind their back. It doesn't mean that you hold a grudge against them. Yeah, you might not agree with some of their actions. You might not agree with some of the choices that they make. You might not agree with, I don't know, how they parent or something, but that does not necessarily mean it's okay to hold a grudge against them. You have to treat it like to each their own. We're two different people. I'm in a different season than you are. I am having different life experiences than what you've had, and our values have become very different. And because of that, I just recognize that I need to have some boundaries put in place with you. But again, that's not a permission slip to be a bitch. That is not a permission slip to be unkind or to hold a grudge or anything like that. I truly feel that when you act that way, you are literally wishing bad to come towards you. And why would you want that, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But really what you need to do instead is you need to honor what that friendship was for you. You need to choose peace for both yourself and the other party. But ultimately, like I said, just honor how that friendship served you, because it did serve a purpose in your life at one point in time. I have friendships that maybe we're not talking as much as we used to. However, when I look back, one in particular got me through some really rough breakups in my younger 20s. And I'm really grateful for that friendship. I really am. It served a purpose in my life, and we grew a lot together. Because of life happening and us going in different directions, we aren't pouring into each other as much, and that's okay. I wish her well. I want her to be happy. I wish her family well. I just don't feel the need to continue to pour into that relationship right now, and it's okay. I cannot say that enough, because I don't want you walking away from a friendship shaming yourself because you feel bad that you're not pouring into it anymore. That's not what this is about. I just think it's really important to acknowledge that every relationship truly did serve a purpose for you, if you can truly recognize and honor how that friendship served you in that season of life that you were in, then you are a lot more likely to gracefully shift the dynamics and let go, versus if you're not recognizing the positives you got from it and how it served you well. I feel you're more likely to focus on the negatives, on the qualities maybe that you don't like about that person now. And that's really more likely to result in you holding a grudge. That's more likely for you to end up being unkind to them. And that's not going to serve you well, and it's not going to serve them well. Again, you're like welcoming bad juju into your life if that's how you choose, if that's what you choose to focus on. If you really want to let go and shift things gracefully, recognize that they served a purpose in your life, identify what that purpose was and what you got out of that relationship and what you're grateful for from that relationship, and move forward wishing them well, giving them that positive. I also thought this would be the perfect opportunity to talk to you about standards for relationships, because what I've noticed in my own personal life and clients that I work with is as we grow and evolve, the standards for what we're looking for in a friendship also change. One, this happens just because you're maturing, and that's just a normal side effect of maturing. But I also feel like as I become more and more self-aware as a human being, as a professional, as a therapist, you name it, that I'm much more specific about what my standards are in friendships. And a lot of it has to do with just the values that I hold. But I want you to understand that it is important to have standards for your relationships, because when you set standards, then you're more intentional about who you let in and who you don't. Because you're not going to let somebody in who doesn't meet those standards, but you're way more likely to let someone in when you recognize that they do meet those standards. So I feel like that's an important thing to assess for yourself. So for me specifically, like my current standards are, I want somebody who's going to show up authentic. I feel like that is a word that's getting thrown around a lot, and I do understand that. But in my current season of life, I'm going to show up as my authentic version of myself. If you don't like that, I really don't care. Okay? Like, that's where I'm at. I'm not here to people please. I'm not here to make you happy or make life easier for you. I'm here to show up as my authentic and real self. You're not always going to like that, but it's okay. We can still, that's a current standard. I want you to show up authentic. I feel I can really tell when somebody is not, and I'm not here for that. Okay? Another standard that I have is mutual support. I really try to be intentional about the relationships that I truly want to pour into in my life. I try to be intentional about checking in with people. I try to be intentional about supporting them professionally, their business or businesses. I try to be intentional about supporting them in whatever season of life they're currently going through, whether it be motherhood or just starting a new business, maybe whatever that season might be. I really try to show that support. And I expect that to be shown back. Life is busy. 100% life is busy. However, you make time for the relationships that matter to you. Okay? So that's another standard for me. Another one is depth. I don't like those surface level relationships. Like, I'm not here to sit and talk about the weather and talk about, I don't know, like I really like depth. I really like to go under the surface and talk about things that maybe you wouldn't typically talk about around the dinner table. Those are conversations that really light me up inside. And that's where I feel the true connection is made. So that is definitely a standard for me. Like, we're not going to sit and talk about like just basic surface level things. We're going to dig deep together, because I think that is fun. That gives me a dopamine hit for sure. That's another standard. Another one that I'll mention is honesty. I have gotten really big on recognizing like those friendships in my life that have been based on gossip. While we all do it, and I understand that, if I have a relationship in my life that is solely based on that, like the bond is always primarily fed by talking about other people, that is really not a great bond. That's really not a foundation. It's not a sturdy foundation, I should say. And so I have recognized that if there's relationships like that in my life, that I'm not pouring into them as much, because that's not what I'm looking for. And then you're really not being honest with me, because I also feel if people are talking to me about other people, more than likely it's it's more likely to happen where they will talk about me with other people. So again, ask yourself, like, what are standards that I'm looking for in a friendship or a relationship? And set those standards for yourself and ask yourself why they're your standards, and really like dig into this. That's really good work to do, because it's like you're setting the intention. And if those are your intentions of what you're wanting in a friendship, then you're more likely to attract friendships that align with those standards. So I really encourage you to just take some time and reflect on this. It will definitely benefit you. Okay. If you are recognizing that you are going through a period where you have some friendships that are growing and evolving, I want to give you some tips for how to navigate this with grace, because this is not common knowledge, I feel. One, I want you to practice gratitude for what that friendship gave you. I'm grateful that this friendship served me during a period where I really needed it. I'm grateful that this friendship gave me support when maybe nobody else did. Recognize those things and give gratitude to those things. Another thing I would highly recommend doing is journaling your feelings privately. If you feel you need to have a face-to-face or phone conversation with this person, that's fine. But journal out your feelings prior to that so you are not being reactive, because a reactive conversation is likely to not go well. And if you do feel you need to have a face-to-face conversation with this person, that's fine, but communicate kindly. And if you feel you can't do that, then you just need to release the relationship with love, silently and privately. That's my recommendation. And the only other tip I want to give you is just surround yourself with relationships that truly feel reciprocal, expansive, and safe. That's my current goal in life. And I truly feel like I have an abundance of those in my life, which I love. But truly just focus on surrounding yourself with those relationships that it's mutual. You're giving and taking on both sides. It's expanding you to be a better version of yourself. And it's emotionally and mentally and obviously physically safe for you. Okay. I like to end our solo episodes now with some affirmations. So if this is an area that you find you are struggling in, some affirmations to tell yourself are: I release what no longer aligns with my highest self with love and gratitude. I honor the role each friendship has played in my growth journey, and it's safe to evolve, and I allow my relationships to evolve too. And if you want to do this in the form of gratitude, you could just say, I am grateful for the relationships and friendships that have played a role in my growth. I am grateful for the evolving of friendships, and I'm grateful that I allow the relationships in my life to evolve and grow. And I'm grateful that I am able to release those friendships that no longer align with my highest self. Okay. Pause and rewind if those really resonate with you. And then some journal prompts that I would encourage you to use if this is something you're currently dealing with or struggling with in your life is: in what ways have I outgrown certain friendships, and how does that make me feel? What kind of friend do I want to be, and what kind of friends do I want to attract? Which relationships feel most energizing and aligned in this current season of life for me? I'll put those in the show notes as well, if that's helpful. The last thing I'm going to say is, just as a reminder, you're not a bad person for choosing peace, okay? You're not a bad person if you recognize that some boundaries need to be put in place with a friend because you are choosing peace for yourself ultimately. That does not make you a bad person. It does not make you selfish. I feel like I hear that language a lot from clients, and it's not true, okay? You are not a bad person. It's okay to prioritize your peace over other people's wants and needs. I also want to remind you that growth sometimes looks like redefining our circles. I feel like this is a lesson I've been learning in the last 6 months to a year, and I wish somebody would have told me that early on, honestly. Because as you grow and evolve, our circles do the same. And it's okay. That is just a natural consequence of us striving to be the best version of ourselves. And again, friendships don't have to last forever to be meaningful. Currently, besides like my best friend, some of my most meaningful friendships right now are fairly new. Like within the last 2 years, new. And I really am grateful for those friendships. And a couple of them I have not even met in person yet. So there's a lot to be said about that. But those are friendships that I'm really pouring into right now. Fun fact, one of them I'm meeting at the Powerhouse Women Conference in August. So that's super freaking exciting. We're actually going to share a room together. So that's just going to be so great. I'm so freaking excited. All right, it's time to wrap things up. I really encourage you to share this episode in your stories if it really resonated with you, or if you feel you need to share it with a specific person in your life, maybe a friend, do that as well. Maybe you have a friend in your life who's struggling with this. Please share it with them. That would be great. Or if you know somebody in your life who's navigating a similar experience, share away. I really appreciate that. And then, like I said before, and I really encourage you to DM me your thoughts or share it in your stories if this just really hit home for you. I really appreciate and love that feedback. Really, like, way more than you realize. And if you are interested in any of my coaching offers right now, I encourage you to go in the show notes and go into my website. I have some new offers that I am putting out there. All right, guys, thanks again for listening. And until next time, I will talk to you guys next week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self, and I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!